This playlist of videos is meant to talk about the healing process. But before I go into all of that, I want to talk about an aspect of my life that has influenced the way I view my healing process, and has given me some insights through the whole process. So, notice I'm donning my Star Wars day. When I was 9 years old, I discovered that when I was falling asleep, I would hear bits of conversation in my head. Like people off to my side were talking. If anybody is old enough to remember a party line, the phone party lines, it's kind of what it was like. It was like you picked up the phone and suddenly you're hearing two people having a little bit of a conversation and you hang the phone back up. This is what I was hearing as a kid. I didn't think much of it. I thought it was odd. I kind of was fascinated by it, but it never, there was anything else to it. When I moved to Florida in 90 and got involved in the metaphysical shop, it introduced me to a way of thinking, metaphysics and all that. And I was introduced to two psychics, June and Adrian. And June, in her 60s, I think, had a purple swatch right down the middle of her hair. I enjoyed being there. I enjoyed that part of my life, being involved with the metaphysics. It was then that I discovered that my totem animal is a wolf, and was encouraged into meditation and automatic writing from a reading that I had. I started meditating in my apartment, and I suddenly started getting a name in my head, and every time I attempted to automatic write, I would get this name. Name was Jennifer. It stuck with me for a while, but then it stopped showing up. And then I just kept living and went through all this stuff. And then I want to say, well, when my wife's mother passed, I was taking a nap. I was just falling asleep, taking a nap. And I was still aware of the room, but yet I was not there. And this older woman's voice pierced from behind me. And I say behind me, because it felt like it had depth and location. Just yelled my name. I took that to my wife. My wife is an intuitive. And I took that to my wife. And she told me that her grandmother had indicated that she was going to do that to me when she passed. I didn't know. It just happened. And during this whole healing process I had, I've had this experience and I still don't quite fully understand why yet. But every time I lay down to take a nap, I could feel someone start to play with my hair. It started out just as touching. Then I could feel it like tugging. I'm sure there's reason for it. And once when I was laying in bed, allowing myself to become depressed, and suddenly there was a tapping on my foot. Literally, I could just feel this tapping, this rhythmic tapping, just tapping. I mean, there was obviously nobody there, but it was tapping on my foot. And I was getting annoyed by it. And I'm thinking in myself, saying, will you just freaking knock it off already? And what I got back was, not until you get up. So I got up. And then I got in my car and drove. And this, whomever stayed with me, I suspect that it was or is a friend of mine who passed, kept poking me inside until I let go of what I was holding on to that was causing me to be depressed. And even as I sit at my desk sometimes and I'm working on something, I hear conversations on either side, or I hear, I don't know the best way to say it. It's like somebody's saying something to me. And the experience of all of it has various degrees of distance, and like sometimes it feels like it's just right here. Sometimes it feels like it's off somewhere. So I have had, and even now in the automatic writing, I have had experience of just writing something without intent, and it being meaningful to my moment, helpful, encouraging. So I've had to accept, because this experience of psychicness is also tied into the delusional fears I have. And so part of my therapy is coming to accept the fact that I experience this stuff and that it is not the delusional, because I know now that while I was delusional, I did experience this as well. But because I was in such a fearful state, that I wrapped it all up together. But the reason the reason for this video is to give you the where I come from in this, because I want to say, when I first explored all this, right after the sexual assault, and I got that name Jennifer, and then I just recently broke and acquired a therapist whose name is Jennifer, and she's also an intuitive. Take of that what you will. But my whole experience with this has opened me to the sense of a broader reality, a before life and afterlife, and that more than just here life. And that's important to the things I will say from here on.